Welcome to Queer Next, the podcast that puts the yeehaw in y'all means all. I'm your host, Beck.
And I'm your host, Dash. Welcome to today's episode. This morning, they drawed off a gallon of blood from me.
Oh, wow.
To try.
They were like bringing you out.
Testing for all kinds of shit. And because I have POTS, I pass out anyway. Like, if it's more than 2 vials, they've got to like lay me back like I'm going into this atmosphere or something. Have you had to do that, or are you like it don't bother you?
No, I've got plenty of blood apparently. Like they take 7 or 8 vials sometimes.
That's how many they took today. Sorry, listeners, for anybody that doesn't like discussions of blood. But normally I get faint, and it's not needles, it's not even blood. I don't know it's POTS, right? It doesn't have anything to do with how I actually feel. So yeah, they lay me back in this like recliner because you have to warn them. If you don't, you hit the floor, they get mad at you. If you know that you're a fainter and you don't tell them, and that's fair. But they sort of know me now because I have to go down there so often lately. In the past several months, I've been down there to get to that lab in particular constantly. And so when I went in, I saw she had laid out all of the vials, and I was like, oh, good God, you might as well just get an ice pack ready.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, I wondered how you were going to hold up.
I was in an accident one time and damaged my right arm in the crease, the elbow crease. So I always have to have them do it on the left side where it's not damaged. So they only get a couple of chances at it. And I always get the one who's brand new at it or has not done it before or hasn't done it in a long time, or the one that likes to hurt them, or that's who I get.
Some people just really, maybe they don't care. Maybe they're like,
yeah, I think that's it.
But honestly, these folks they're all very good. So there's a lot of reasons I've been lucky to have them right down the road. And I'm kind of maybe getting some exposure therapy on it. Maybe because today, like I stayed conscious. I was not well, but all the precautions and stuff seem to have helped.
I was grading today, and one of the questions, I don't know if you know Naomi Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote The Beauty Myth.
Yeah.
Which it still stands up. That particular writing is very good. Her more recent stuff is a little off the rails, but I wouldn't really trust it. But The Beauty Myth, it still stands up, and it speaks to a lot of students. And on one of the quizzes, I asked them to tell me about a time when they saw the beauty myth in action. And because they've all seen, that kind of stuff, it's part of the socialization. We've all had it happen. And she said that recently she was watching, or one of my students said that she was recently watching Instagram, and there was a girl who was doing what she called the headphone challenge. Would you like to guess what the headphone challenge is?
I really don't think I could come up with a guess.
That your headphones fit around your waist.
Oh my God.
I had another one say that she was told that she was the biggest of her 3 friends, and she weighed 125 pounds. And so she dropped 20 pounds. It was down to 105. And it was like, Jesus.
One of your students told you this?
Yeah. They, like, by the end of the semester, they tell me about their abortions. They tell me about everything.
I know what you mean.
One girl, one time, she got some free condoms and lube at the union, and she asked me if it was supposed to itch, and I was like, interesting question. I answered her. Another girl got pregnant in the middle of not in class, but during the semester. And they tell me everything.
I was actually just thinking this morning about this discourse going on around Hollywood's fairly recent anorexia. Like, there's always been representation and sizeism and stuff like that on screen in Hollywood in general, in the business of making art with people's bodies. There's been issues like that, but people are really identifying this skinniness trend among cis women, particularly cis straight women, a lot of them. And I was actually thinking to myself, like, I don't care. I don't care what these women look like. I don't care what these celebrities look like. I just don't feel very connected to them. But it's not me that's at risk of their influence. It's kids like your students. I guess that also kind of raises a question, like, what does my care need to look like? Like, okay, I do care how students are impacted by media messaging. What do we do? Like,
Exactly.
do we criticize the celebrities? Is it their responsibility? Are they victims as well?
We pin a lot on celebrities when we want to tear them down. Like the whole Bad Bunny thing, saying that it was his job to unify the nation or whatever. Like,
Mhm.
why was it his job, the Super Bowl halftime performer? Like, when there's a president that is supposed to do that shit, like, in the job description, you know?
Sure, we'll hold.
Yeah, a young man completely accountable to it.
Yeah, and we'll hold a stranger, particularly a stranger with a minoritized identity, to a standard we wouldn't hold ourselves, our neighbor, our family. But the fact is there clearly is some sort of impact or influence on young people, and I think is eating disorders in general are the deadliest mental health or mental illness. I'm pretty sure that's what it's that.
I think I've read that before.
If I'm wrong, listeners, and we're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but I guess just to say it's one of those things that I don't know how they navigate it. I remember being super impacted by body image stuff in a queer way, but I don't know what the cis straight woman experience of needing to, or whatever that pressure to look a certain way would do to you.
I remember always being the fat girl, always. I was always the chubby girl. And then I lost some weight when I was in high school because my mom put me on the fin diet.
Right? Remember?
And so I lost some weight and I got down, to a pretty normal size. And the attention that I got from the guys, I couldn't take it. Like, it just grossed me out. And that was even before I knew I was a lesbian. I just didn't like how there was such a difference in the way that I was treated. Yeah. Like, I remember specifically a guy named Jason Smith being like, "You look really nice today." And it was like, ugh.
Yeah, the guys loved me. Like, it wasn't like droves of them, but there was always a handful that were just chasing after me, and I couldn't understand it. I didn't know what to do to get rid of it. Is that why butch lesbians are often fluffy?
What do you mean?
Butch lesbians, they're kind of chubby.
Not all of them. There's some small ones.
I was thinking about like all the different. Most people are familiar with the different kinds of gay man, like bear, otter, twink, twunk,
Right.
whatever. Do you know the different kinds of lesbians?
I don't.
Because, there's butch and femme, but there's stone butch, there's soft butch, there's hard femme, high femme, there's femdom. And that's not even really getting into like the dating role. This is just about the kind of their aesthetic, their presentation.
Okay.
There's bulldagger.
How does one decide where you fit in the categories?
I think if it is in any way analogous to gay male culture, it's really just how you look, right? It's like it was an interview. Oh, I don't remember what show she was on, but Dylan Mulvaney was it was Monica Lewinsky's show. If you haven't checked out her podcast, it really has some delightful moments because she's such a good listener. She's a good interviewer, and she's genuinely curious about things that she's just so open-minded. And she has interviewed a lot of queer people, and some kind of wild stuff comes up for her. And then she's just never heard of it. So she'd never heard of a twink. And so Dylan Mulvaney was on there trying to teach Monica Lewinsky what a twink was. And what Dylan said was that she was a twink, but to be a twink, you have to be hairless. And she was a very hairy person before she got like electrolysis and stuff, before she transitioned. So she was talking about the process of turning her body into something that was congruent with the twink aesthetic. Somehow that impacted her ability to attract a partner because there's no such thing as a hairy twink, I guess. So like it's partly based on what you just happen to look like, and then also maybe some personality features. I don't know if I was a lesbian long enough to find out. People often called me a butch because I had short hair and I wore men's clothes.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I embodied it, or I definitely didn't identify with it in any way.
See, that's how I feel because I have short hair, right? I've been to the barber shop many a time. And my wife Shanna looks like somebody's soccer mom. She just looks average. And so you would think that I was the one that could use power tools, but she went to art school. So she can use all the power tools, and I have no idea. She can fix things without directions, and I need directions for the directions, Like,
you're a soft butch.
I guess I'm as soft as they come.
A lot of, especially, I think this is true for people maybe just a tad bit older than you and I. And also, I think that there's a regionality and a classness to it. I don't think any of the queer people I knew where I was growing up that were my age, none of us had any concept of this shit. But going back to like movies and things, so like that movie Bound, that's a very classic butch femme dynamic.
Right.
And the way that they don't really like saturate the dialogue with it, but the way that those two women embody those characters and the way that they, like pursue one another, it's actually really interesting because just like you were saying, is it Corky is her name? Gina Gershon's character, I'm pretty sure it's Corky.
I've only seen that movie twice. And the first time I saw it, I was like 20.
Yeah.
And I was just getting into being gay. Like I had just come out. And it was like the first girl that I dated. It was her house. And I was
Yeah,
very
you told me you
innocent.
watched it on a date.
Yeah. And it was
That's
just
putting
like
a porn in.
yeah, pretty much. Exactly what it was like. And it was very weird. So I want to say that I appreciated it, but I did not appreciate it at the time. Like
Listeners, should we review the Wachowskis' seminal lesbian film Bound for Queer Necks? Because there's a lot to be discussed in here about gender roles. Because like in a lot of ways, Corky is that classic, that stereotypical butch. Like she's literally a handyman and she knows how to do all these things. There's all of these, we see her doing all this plumbing and stuff, like not only masculine, like typical masculine type work, but we see her penetrating, she's snaking out drains and shit. But when it comes to like the relationship with Violet, she's wearing her heart on her sleeve. She's the biggest soft-hearted butch. That is like every girl who identified as a butch that I ever hung out with, that was exactly what they were like. Was like acting tough and and they were very like, there were certain socially like masculine type of things that they would do and identify with. But just like softies, sweeties, whatever. Did you ever read any like Leslie Feinberg, Stone Butch Blues?
oh yes, I did read that a long time ago.
Yeah. That's an interesting person in general. I would love to reread that. For book club, we should do Stone Butch Blues.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know. I never could really like vibe with it, but I do have people, I know people who are like maybe 5 years older, 5 to 10 years older than me who strongly identify with the butch femme roles.
I've never known anybody that was really into it, but I've known plenty of people that had like the short hair and the long hair together. That's a common dynamic, but I don't know a lot of people that have played those roles that I know of anyway.
There was a joke about it in a fairly short story arc on the L Word with, you remember the character Max that is very like Midwestern all-American kid that comes out to LA with Jenny, later transitions into Max.
It's been so long since I've watched it.
Well, so they show up and Moira gets out of the car and is like being very like, oh, you ladies go inside and sit down. Turns to Shane and is like, us butches will get all the luggage out of the car. And we're very much laughing at her expense for, I don't know why the fuck they did it. Sometimes that show, I was like, why did you do that? What do you want me to feel about this right now?
Right.
I feel like you don't know what you're doing. And that's kind of the only time they ever mentioned like butch femmes. Well, maybe not only time, but they would talk about it in theory and then you would never see it in a character.
Right. And I don't think I would have called Shane a very butch. She had the look, but
no,
that was really about it.
That was a very androgynous person.
She looks a lot like my friend Brooke with the collars and the black and spiky and all of that. She looks a lot like my friend Brooke.
I definitely wore like button down shirts and ties and stuff in the mid 2000s.
We think that Wenda got too much chicken the other night, and that's what made her sick. We don't know if it's that or the new medicine she's on, because they put her on 2 medicines. They put her on gabapentin and trazodone.
Oh, that sounds like a diabolical combination.
One's to relax, one's to sleep.
But yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah. The first night I gave it to her, she was drunk as hell. It was funny.
Here's my gap. Here's one. I have 2 more of these that are actually twice as tall.
Oh, that's how if we're playing that game, this is my metformin.
It's like a tall boy.
It was like so, like up to my head. And I get 2 of these at a time because I take
Yeah.
2 twice a day. So I take 4 a day. And so, yeah. No, I have a little container that has all my meds in it so that I can, I see, I'm pretty smart though. So I number them. I put A or P so that I know, and then I go through, that way I know I don't miss anything. And I just go in order and it goes a lot faster that way. So
I need to get more organized. I say shit like that all the time, like I'm actually going to do it. Fucking Kristi Noem is fired.
that is fantastic news.
Somebody suffered a consequence of sorts. They're treating it like she's got some promotion.
Right.
But the thing they're talking about her doing, it doesn't quite exist yet. So right now, somebody posted a screenshot of her LinkedIn. It just says like, was it Director of Department of Homeland Security? I can't remember what the title is. It's not secretary. And in parentheses, former.
That's exactly how it should be.
Yep.
To hell with that bitch.
And this dude who is replacing her is a genuine moron. Like,
Yeah.
it's not that might spare everybody from him doing some similarly horrible things, but he is a lot stupider than her. Like, she was a scheming, cunning bitch. He's not.
That might be a good thing. We'll see.
Maybe
he's not completely evil. We can still have hope.
Maybe. There was one clip I saw of him. I forget. So he's a very big like proponent of not going to education. He doesn't have a college degree or anything like that. What's his name? It's like Mark Wayne.
Mark Wayne.
Yeah. Oh God, he looks so stupid.
He's from Oklahoma, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it was a deposition of like them in Oklahoma talking about education. And he said something like, what was we ranked at? And the person was like, yeah, we're ranked extremely low. And he's like, it's number 1, right? And she's like, no, it's not number 1. We're not ranked number 1 in the country in education.
I wonder who is. Probably like Vermont.
Yeah.
Rhode Island.
Well, I guess it kind of depends on who we're asking. New Jersey.
I have a cousin that just moved there.
So like they're number 1 in like primary through secondary, but their number's 36 in higher ed. But Florida, of all states, is number 1 in higher education. Who? I don't know. I don't know what the metrics are on this.
I don't believe there's a single Ivy League school down there.
In Florida?
Yeah. If those are the creme de la creme.
Maybe it's so like one of the primary metrics I'm seeing listed here is graduation rate. It's easy to graduate from your school. Nation report card. Oh, good Lord. This is a map. That's cool and everything. 15 most and least educated states in the U.S. Massachusetts is number 1.
For the most educated?
Yeah. This is from Business Insider. And the median household income is $104,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Almost half of the adults in the state have at least a bachelor's. Vermont is second.
I've only ever known one person from Vermont, and they were pretty wealthy. I went to Miami of Ohio, I knew people from all over the place because it was like a magnet school for people that didn't get into the Ivies.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole lot of New England, Vermont, Maryland is 3, Connecticut, sensing a trend here. Oh, Colorado. A wild Colorado appears. New Jersey, Virginia, New Hampshire, Minnesota is 9th.
What?
But what's this based on? Because this is a picture of the University of Minnesota. So what are we? So, well, again, this is most educated states. Washington, Utah, because they're all...
You mean those people with the magic underwear?
Yep. I was friends when I was in my master's program. I became friends with this girl whose parents were deconstructed Mormons. And that was the first time I learned about the magic underwear. And I thought I was being trolled. I thought like, that can't be real. Like nobody, I probably really made them feel stupid. And I'm sorry. I probably did. So I'll just go ahead and say I'm sorry for doing that. But it was so beyond my comprehension that 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 a not that anybody could believe it, but that a religion like that could be like living at the same time as all the other shit we know, you know? Like wait a minute, there's a college, like these people are at college studying shit like science and medicine and then putting on their magic underwear.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, but you know, religion is fucking weird. It's
Yeah.
you know, if you think that one thing sounds crazier than whatever is closest to you, it's just bias. Because I think I knew at Jellicoe, I knew some Seventh Day Adventists that was snake what's it called? Snake holders, is that it?
Handlers.
Handlers, right.
Handlers. Yeah. Oh, well, that's a big part of some of the Pentecostal religion.
Pentecostal.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
every church did it, but some did. So I've seen it done when I was little.
What is a Seventh Day Adventist? I don't know. This just sounds like the same old shit. Like, I can't tell the difference between any of this stuff and any other denomination of Christianity, except for the fact that their Sabbath is a Saturday.
Isn't that the Jewish Sabbath?
Shabbat. This has become a really weird episode of Queer Next, you guys.
Yes, it has been. Geopolitical.
Oh, it's on Friday.
Oh.
Okay, wait. Shabbat is the weekly Jewish day of rest starting at sunset on Friday and ending after nightfall on Saturday.
So some of Friday and most of Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So I follow this group on Facebook called a group where non-Jews can ask Jews questions. And it's a serious group.
Yeah.
And you can ask anything you want about the Jewish religion respectfully. And I have seen some of the most interesting conversations. I'm very interested in the culture of different things.
Yeah.
I've never asked a question because I wouldn't even know where to begin. But I've learned quite a lot about history and some of the celebrations that they do and that kind of stuff. I can't recommend it enough. It's really cool.
There's this trainer, I don't know if I told you about him. Like he does like fitness content for iFit, which is like the Temu Peloton. If you
Right.
have like a Nordic Trek or something, you can get iFit and there's these trainers that'll take you through things. And but he's also an anthropologist. He's a doctor. And so he'll go run in places and they'll film like him he'll run down the Iberian Peninsula and it'll be a 6-week workout program of 5 workouts a week of just a half hour of him taking you through a pace and then doing a lecture on whatever the history of the area. And like it was tailor-made for me. That's what turned me into a runner, was like, because he also has a master's in exercise science and it's designed for people who don't know how to run. And so the first like 2 straight weeks, it's just 30 minutes of like you jog for 30 seconds and then you walk for 2 minutes and then you jog for 30 seconds and walk just on and off like that for a half hour. So it's kind of like some Couch to 5K programs, but more interesting because he's giving a lecture about the history of the Iberian Peninsula the whole way. But a big part of that, the history of that region, is the Crusades and how like Christianity and like Moorish Islamic religions and Jewish people, how they kind of all tussled and moved around that region. Mostly it was Christianity persecuting the Jews and the Muslims, though. America doesn't have that shit. Like our colonial history, it's very recent. We don't have this long, drawn-out history of things like crusades from the 1400s.
Right.
We don't even really have castles. We have a couple, but like there were so many castles in that region, they're not even considered historical markers.
Wow.
It's like, yeah, there's people who spray painted this one because there's just castles everywhere because that's what they lived in. Have you ever been out of the country?
I have been to Canada exactly one time. And my dad was living in Detroit, and there's a bridge that crosses over into Detroit. And that was before you needed passports. So one night he got a wild hair and was like, let's go to Canada. So we crossed the bridge and we went to a convenience store and bought wild cherry Pepsi. And then we went through the McDonald's drive-thru and got French fries. And that was my entire Canadian experience. So
Was there gravy on the French fries?
I don't remember. Not that my dad probably would have ordered that. He was the kind of guy that would like that kind of thing. There's a restaurant at home that used to be called Pop's Diner, and they served fries with gravy on them. So it was something he probably would have got it if they had it. So
I mean, like I accidentally crossed the border once, but it wasn't like we didn't go into Canada, you know, like we were just not paying attention to what we were doing and wound up what we thought was a toll booth was a border crossing.
I've been on the American side of Niagara Falls. That was pretty close. And one time, Shanna, a couple years ago, we drove to the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and we went all the way to our GPS geeked out. We just kept talking and didn't pay attention, and ended up all the way at Exit 1, Sault Ste. Marie, and we were like, "Oh, we're gonna shit if we don't turn around. We're gonna go to Canada." Like literally, we were one turn away from going to Canada.
The American side of Niagara is kind of underwhelming.
Yeah. I didn't even go out on the boat. I stayed and ordered pizza. I was there as a chaperone.
Yeah, me too. I took the McNair Summer Research Institute.
That's where I went. That's how I got there too.
And I walked around all of the, like if you walk to the falls, like not out on the boat, but just go down to like where you can see, like all along that road, there's vendors with various kinds of foods and, you know, all kinds of things to kind of part you from your money that you came with. But it doesn't feel like actual tourism. It's very like chintzy, and there's like a rainforest cafe, and that's maybe the most touristy thing there besides the convention center. But on the other side, like if you go up to the falls and then you look across, they've literally got like Ferris wheels. There's a fucking carnival going on the Canadian side of Niagara. And so if you go down there, you're just like, well, it looks like fun over there. It was cool looking at night though, because they put the lights through the mist and stuff.
I bet. It was like the middle of July when we went, I think. And with my legs and stuff, there was no way I was going to be able to stand in line forever. So I was like, nope, I ain't going. And I took a Friday nap there at the Niagara Falls Convention Center.
I don't know why I didn't go on the boat or whatever. I can't remember. I can't remember that even being a discussion. But I drove a van load of students up there.
Yep, me too.
And I had the fun V, so like we had a good time. One of the students, I don't get to talk to them much anymore, but they became somebody who, like Sabrina became kind of a close mentor to them. A lot of the students that the time that I was there as a GA that I got the closest with, they all moved to Seattle together. They're like friendship goals.
Oh, wow.
They're all still buddies. They live like down the street from each other in Seattle. I just hope that they're still living life.
That's my favorite part of my job, is working with the students.
Yeah.
They can be so funny sometimes. So I was grading last night, and here, I'll read you the exact wording of they were talking. So the question was about, hang on. Oh, you commented on this, so you saw it. I was grading, and the sentence said, an example of this is 9/11, when Muslims and Middle Eastern people were treated differently because of what the media was saying. We were talking about how race, the categories that we understand of racial separation, how that comes across through history and culture and language and all that kind of stuff. And they were giving me an example. But when they said the Muslims, that just cracked me up. You should see what they did to the Lenins.
Yeah. And the Trotskys. Oh. Well, you saw what I commented with I was working with the student on his paper.
Yeah.
He was doing a research paper, something about the NBA. And I was already like, I don't know anything about the NBA. Like, whatever. Thank you for trusting me with this knowledge. I don't know. But he kept saying that there were several phrases where he was like, these sissies and the sissies who are doing, you know, this or that, and the sissies are causing this. And I was like, wow, this is a big issue for him. Like, he feels so passionate. And so I had conferenced with him, and I was like, who are you talking about? Like, who are the sissies? Why are you using this strong language? And he legit had no idea what I was talking about. So, and now I'm thinking about it, like I was saying, like, who are the sissies? And he's looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so I showed him a place, and he looked at it, and then he stared for a while, and then finally he goes, that's supposed to say issues. And I was like, I think we just learned that you might be dyslexic. Between that and autocorrect got you good.
Yeah. A couple of semesters ago, I had a student use the word assess like 15 times in one paper, but he misspelled it every time as asses. My
Hell
favorite paper
yeah.
ever. And it ended up being a pretty good paper. But the best opening line I have ever heard on a women's studies paper was on Earth.
Throughout time and history.
Like, where else would we be talking about? Clearly on Earth.
From the dawn of time.
Oh, yeah, they're so funny sometimes.
Yeah. The thing I did like really appreciate about teaching women's studies was that even though the cis straight men were few and far between in that course, but there was always at least one or two in every
Right.
section I taught.
Yep.
And they would just, reach a point where they would go like, all right, in for a penny, in for a pound. And they're just engaging, right? And I remember this one student, he was a football player and he showed up, likely just like coach said, he was there every single class and he tried his best. But then all of a sudden something clicked for him and he became really invested when I brought up something. It was the Bechdel test.
Yeah. Do you know that, oh my God, Becky, look at her butt, passes the Bechdel test?
Oh my God, that's so true. Well, the Bechdel test is twofold, right? Like it comes from a comic book. It's a joke.
Right.
It's making fun of the fact that this should even be a difficult minimum to attain. So it's not a literal test. So that was the part that I think really appealed to him. Like he was interested in the fact that somebody used that kind of humor to draw attention to something that is actually an issue.
Yeah.
And, sometimes it really is. You don't want to get into a position where you're like, applauding a man for doing the bare minimum, but it's also a little disingenuous not to acknowledge that you're actually kind of surprised.
Well, I mean, I get a wide variety of them, the different kinds of guys. Sometimes it's a guy taking it with his girlfriend. That's a common reason for them to be in the classroom. Sometimes they are gay and they want to be there to learn about gender and stuff like that. Sometimes they're a football person and they've heard the class was easy, so they try that. So there's a few reasons that they take it. Last semester, I had like first day a student tell me that he didn't use pronouns. So that's how we started the semester last year. And I was like, don't tell me that because I will make fun of you. Like, because yes, you do. You definitely do. Like in that sentence saying you don't use them, they're using a pronoun.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think you get them that want to get in there and prove everything you say wrong. They want to be confrontational. But what they find is that, so one of the questions I do the question twice on two different quizzes throughout the semester. I say, pick any author that I have assigned to you and answer these questions. Who are they? What are their credentials? What have they written? And are they a trustworthy source of information? And I say that if you think something I've assigned to you is bullshit, this is the place to tell me about it, And what they figure out is that no matter who they pick, except Naomi Wolf, just about everyone that I assign is an expert in their field, everything that all the readings and stuff, like they're the top person. So when you realize that this is, not just a random collection of essays that I threw together and that it actually is a field of study and that other people are out there agreeing with me, I think it makes it easier for them to digest it.
That's a good idea because if you don't know, and then it really just sounds like somebody who's there's something that happens when people are not, it's not intelligence. There's a kind of like the way they receive information. If they receive information passively, if everything they know has been told to them, like just been given to them and that's their thoughts, then it's reasonable for them to assume that that's the way the rest of us get our thoughts as well. So you ever know a narcissist or somebody's trying to be impressive and sound really smart, but they're clearly just saying bullshit. But to them, everything we say sounds that way. And it's reasonable for them to assume that we're all making it up too. Because the idea that someone could be smarter than them it doesn't enter their brain at all. And it's like, no, I know what I'm talking about. So other people who know what I'm talking about also can understand the things I'm saying. Nobody understands what you're saying.
Right.
It's very clear that you're just making shit up.
Yeah. I get a lot of that on these quizzes. Like, I've said it so many times and I'll say it again. It is so refreshing to be back on main campus because when
Yeah.
I was teaching for that other program, those kids just did not care. And these kids like genuinely care. But like the answers, I'm like, that's pretty good. You said that pretty
Yeah.
well, like there's some really good work being done. It's impressive. And I always give extra credit for two reasons. One, extra credit for extra work. So if you take a question that it should be a paragraph to answer and you really put some research and thought into it, give me like a 3-paragraph thing, I'll usually give you an extra credit point for that. And number two, you get extra credit if you make me laugh while grading. So those are few and far between, but they're always worth it.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to risk too much trying to make your professor laugh.
Yeah. Oh, I don't announce it. They just get them naturally because they just say funny things sometimes. And I'm like, +1, LOL.
Yeah.
I hide Easter eggs in my syllabi. I used to hide them in my PowerPoints and the readings too, so that students would find them. And then that way I would know who was doing the reading, the people that got the Easter eggs.
You know what I was always really bad at was writing the assignment prompts. I really think that I must have been bad at it because there was always so much confusion. And maybe I was over explaining, but saying less didn't seem to clear things up either.
No, they just do not listen. That is 100% sure.
Read.
Oh, yeah, either or. They don't do either of them. Like on the last exam, the way that I do my essay question is that I'll ask you to write 2 essay questions, but I'll give you like 5 questions to choose from. That way you can argue the one that you know the best. And I will make it like in extra big letters, only 2. Like only write. Every semester I have at least one person that writes all 8 questions.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I have to grade 8 questions, and I give them extra credit or whatever, but come on, because that's a lot of effort. I appreciate that you did that, but wow.
Well, let's hear a word from our sponsor for this week. This week's episode of Queer Necks is sponsored by the whack-ass songs and rhymes we learned growing up in Appalachia in honor of honorary queer neck Jennifer, who reached out this week to tell us that she recognized a reference I made last week to the song Go Talent Roadie. So, somewhere along the line, lullabies got real gentle and cute, like soft piano, stars twinkling, sheep politely hopping fences while everyone drifts off to sleep. That is not the catalog of my crazy mountain youth. The old songs that floated around the kitchens and porches were full of dead geese, doomed frogs, gopher guts, questionable courtships, and busybody wildlife. Who among us doesn't remember exactly where we were the first time our older and wiser cousin taught us the lore and litany of great green gobs of greasy, grimy gopher guts? It's not all gore, though. Consider Go Tell Aunt Rhody. The entire premise is that somebody needs to go inform Aunt Rhody that the old gray goose has died in the mill pond. Not peacefully passed away, it is dead. The song sends several verses working through the emotional and practical implications, including what might be done with the feathers. Then there's Froggy Win a Courtin'. Frog shows up in formal wear to marry Miss Mouse. He brings a sword and a pistol, which already suggests the ceremony could go a multitude of ways. The wedding supper gets underway, and before long, a local aquatic predator enters the scene and ends the festivities. Everybody has a great time up until the moment they no longer did. And Sourwood Mountain, half the lyrics sound like somebody just standing on a ridge naming every dog they know, while punctuating the list with a colorful hi-ho. It feels like a song written by somebody who had a long afternoon, a decent view, and a banjo. The stories wandered all over the place, but the singing itself stuck with you. Lyrics might involve dead poultry, suspicious frogs, but the feeling underneath is simple. People keeping each other company. That music held families through long winters, hard work, and the general weirdness of living near a lot of woods. We are indebted to the old and weird things that made us, and grateful to have continued to find weird and old things along the way. Now go on up Cripple Creek and tell them Queer Neck sent you.
That's fun.
We sang the Greasy Grimy Gopher Guts song all the time.
So my dad had 2 that he would sing. The first one, my mommy told me if I was goody that she would buy me a rubber dolly. My uncle told her I kissed a soldier. Now she won't buy me the rubber dolly. Yo, twerp.
What is a rubber dolly?
A doll made out of rubber, I guess. I don't know.
I just don't know why you'd want that.
And then the more popular one that I think people have heard is the 369, the goose drunk wine, the monkey chewed tobacco on the streetcar line. The line broke and the monkey got choked and they all went to heaven in a little rowboat.
We did that one while jumping rope.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Did you ever jump rope?
Yeah, until I got too fat. And then when we moved out of the country, I didn't have any kids that lived near me. So it got kind of boring. And I had a gravel driveway anyway.
Yeah, a lot of this was just on the playground at Jellicoe or with my cousins. We didn't jump rope. Well, we didn't have any flat place. So like when we hung out, it was like on a hillside. Did
you do jump rope for your heart in gym class? Where you had to raise money and you got in teams and you had to jump rope for so long? It was a fundraiser. No. Yeah, for the the American Heart Association.
I don't recall anything like that. I don't recall the presidential challenge. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I never had to climb a rope or anything.
Ours was push-ups and sit-ups, I think, and running around a mile or something like that.
No, sometimes we would have foot races, and a lot of times we'd play basketball.
You know, we were talking about that the other day. I've never played a game of basketball in my life. It never came up in gym class. It's never come up. Like, I've thrown the ball with a hoop, you know what I mean? But I've never actually played basketball before, which as a lesbian is like a timeout kind of penalty thing. I lose some cool lesbian points.
Your lesbian card.
That's what I was going for.
We played kickball a lot. We played that outside, though. So, there was, and of course, recess and gym class were different. There was a certain point in school, we didn't have a gym class every year, but you always had recess, if that makes sense.
Was your playground separated by sex?
No.
Ours was. And people, apparently that was very weird because I've asked students, I'm like, yeah, I've told students that for years and they all act like I'm crazy. But the monkey bars was right in the middle and everybody could play on the monkey bars, but the boys stayed on one side and the girls stayed on the other.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah.
I think the best playground I remember was at our Head Start at Newcomb. It was just welded together steel rods and gigantic tractor tires, kind of half buried or cut into pieces, and we would just climb all over them. And they were spray painted different colors. So as we come home with paint like various colors on our hands.
That's a lot of fun. Did you ever have a fireman pole in any of your toys? Like at the park?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I was terrified of it the entire time I lived in Portsmouth. At Mound Park, they had a little playground area that had a couple of slides, and they had a fireman pole, and you had to climb up it, and then you could slide down it. Oh, I could never do it. I was too chicken.
I don't think I would have been able to either. I can't remember it ever being around one. The park we went to the most often in Jellicoe, outside of school, was Indian Mountain State Park. At the time, there was not a lot going on with that park. It was a bunch of picnic tables. There was a walking trail and just a bunch of ducks. You could paddle boat. I just don't remember a bunch else going on there.
Yeah.
We would ride our bikes, and that was about it.
There was a Little League baseball diamond. There were 2 fields there. There was a set of tennis courts. There was a lot of green space. In later years, they built a big wooden playground, but that was never there when I was a kid. We just had a metal one up by the tennis courts. But they built an extensive wooden one right by the mound. So that was cool. It was a nice little park. Had a good hill to roll down when it was leafy.
There was some tennis courts by the high school in Jellicoe, but they were not maintained, so there was grass growing up, and then there was no nets. And never saw anybody actually playing with it. The only thing they did there was cow bingo.
Oh, wow.
Like they would draw the bingo cards on the tennis courts and then walk the cows around. Listeners, let us know if you don't know what cow bingo is.
Did you ever play cakewalk?
Yep. I never won one. Did you ever win a cakewalk?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Dang.
I've always been until I started calling bingo, I was pretty lucky. And then I used up all of my luck by not calling those old ladies their bingos. And now I can't win for shit.
Dang. I used all mine up finding all those 4-leaf clovers.
Yeah.
It's getting to be time for them to be blooming soon. I wonder if there's a patch anywhere near my house.
No.
I don't think winter's done with us, though.
Yeah. No, it's supposed to be in the 70s here in the next couple of days, and then it goes right back down to 35.
It's 30 something here. It was supposed to snow, though, and the snow never happened, so that's cool.
It was apparently got up to 60 degrees today. I haven't been outside. I've been working all morning. Well, I slept in a little bit, but then I worked all morning. It's spring break, man.
I was going to ask, it's next week for us, but was it this week?
Yeah, and I've had a cold the whole time. I had a stomach virus and a cold. It sucks. At least it could be one virus that combined the symptoms of both of those things, or I think that I got one of each. Because my head cold isn't too bad, but the stomach virus was pretty. I threw up at a Mexican restaurant. Is all I'll say about that.
Jesus.
Yeah,
You're probably not the first.
I had to throw up in a public toilet, and that was disgusting.
That's awful.
I washed my hands for like 5 minutes.
Do you have a noun of Appalachian interest?
I do. I do. I came up with a fun one for this week. All right. Now, if you want to understand Appalachia in about 3 hours flat, go to the county fair. A county fair is where the whole region shows up at once. Farmers bring their best livestock. Kids show the animals they raised all year through 4-H and FFA. Somebody's grandma enters a pie contest she secretly has been preparing for since last August. County fairs actually go way back. The first ones in the United States started in the early 1800s as an agricultural exhibition. Farmers would gather to show crops, animals, and new farming tools. And over time, these events picked up rides, games, and food stands until they turned into the slightly chaotic celebration that we know today. And by chaotic, I mean wonderful. I mean, you've got funnel cake dust floating through the air like powdered sugar snow, somebody winning a giant stuffed banana at the ring toss, and then there's the line at the freshly squeezed lemonade stand that's been there since 1997. Then there are the animals. You'll see everything from prize hogs to chickens that look personally offended to be there. Somewhere, a teenager in boots and a belt buckle the size of a dinner plate is trying to guide a stubborn goat around a ring while a judge watches very seriously. But one of the best parts of the county fair is the people watching. You'll see a whole lot of Appalachian fashion, from cowboy hats to flip-flops to work boots, and somebody's uncle wearing camouflage shorts and an American flag tank top like it's formal attire. Half the fun is just sitting on a bench with a lemonade and watching the parade of humanity stroll past. Every local church seems to set up one of these white tents where the volunteers are selling plates of food to raise money for youth group or the mission trip fund or whatever. You walk up and somebody's grandma hands you a foam plate piled high with things like pulled pork, green beans, baked beans, cornbread, and a slice of homemade pie. It's the kind of meal that tastes like somebody's mama's kitchen. But the real event, the one that everybody waits for, is the Demolition Derby. If you've never ever seen one, I'm sad for you. But imagine a group of old cars or school buses or farm combines on their very last legs, spray painted with names and a derby number, being driven straight into each other while a crowd cheers like it's the Super Bowl. The goal is simple. Keep your vehicle running longer than everyone else's. The last man standing wins. Oh, and it is definitely loud and dusty, and there's fire and mud and sirens, and it's absolutely glorious. And here's the best part about the county fair. No matter where you're from in Appalachia, when you walk through those gates, you're going to see somebody you know. A cousin, a teacher, a guy who sold your uncle a truck in 2003. You might show up for the rides or the livestock show. You might show up to see your kid in the local high school band parading around the loop. You might even show up for the fried Oreos. But most people show up for the same reason they always have, to see everybody else who showed up.
Yep. That's like prime people watching.
The last time I went, and it's been a while since I've been, the last time I went, there was a guy in full Axl Rose gear. Like he looked like Axl Rose from the 80s. Like we secretly took pictures with people.
I've done that before too. You're not going to do anything with it, you know.
Yeah.
You're just sort of like there's pictures of people that came to orientation at EKU that sometimes I'm just like, I can't believe I was in the same place as this person. Like this is top 50 moment for me. There was one who looked exactly like Little Bubby Child. It was awesome. I just kept like wanting to walk near him. Maybe it was him. I don't know.
Might have been. What are you going to do for the rest of the evening?
I think I'll get on my treadmill. I might have a hot drink of some kind. Watch something stupid. Maybe talk on the phone. I'm just going to go crazy.
It sounds like a fun evening. Do you wander your house when you're on the phone?
Yeah, sometimes. Like, what else are you going to do, you know?
And always in weird places, like you're sitting on top of your refrigerator and shit like that.
Yeah. I was thinking, I think we mentioned this last time, maybe, but our 1 year anniversary of the show is going to be on June 1st. It's the first day of Pride Month.
Nice.
So it'll be our 53rd episode, I'm pretty sure. And I was like doing some journaling about what might be fun to do. And I really am like, I'm just going to make me and you some t-shirts, some Queer Next t-shirts. I've been wanting to get a Cricut and, do stuff like that for a while. I love designing shirts. I designed shirts for the drag shows and stuff at school because we are too cheap to have graphic designers. So I think I'll do that. And, maybe I make some stuff for us to do a little giveaway, but either way, I'm interested in hearing from listeners what might be fun to do as anything during Pride Month, to celebrate us managing to do this for a year and to celebrate Pride Month and whatever. So let us know. You can send us an email at mailbag@queernext.com. You can message us on the Facebook, the Queer Next Facebook. You can technically message us on Instagram. I just don't log in there very often. But I will read it and let us know what sounds fun.
Woo!
What are y'all doing this Friday evening? Let's peek behind the kimono.
I have to get up pretty early in the morning. Every year, I'm a judge for the Ohio History Day competition on campus. I really like doing it, so probably go to bed early. So we'll probably get something to eat, maybe watch an episode or two of my show, call it an evening.
Yeah, I've still got the last episode of Heated Rivalry to finish.
I can't decide if I want to watch that or not.
It's I found it an easy watch,
Yeah.
They're not queer baiting, right? There's no like, ooh, will they, won't they? Like those boys get to fucking,
Yeah.
like they are, and it's sweet. They're sweet to each other. It's relatable. There's the being closeted, the pressure to, what it's actually like to have to come out. There's not a ton of coming out stories anymore, which is fine because I don't think Gen Z experiences that the way that we did, and that's kind of what we hope for.
Right.
But for somebody who did have to feel that way, it feels very relatable, It doesn't hurt. It feels like, oh, okay. Like there's no twisting the knife, I guess. So
Right.
It's, I've enjoyed it, but I've also been kind of spacing it out. Like I'll watch one episode every other week or something.
Gotcha. Did you ever check out that show Hillbilly on Hulu? I assume it's still on Hulu.
I did not. Yeah. The documentary.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I will do that. I'm pretty sure I have Hulu. Well, let y'all go. Happy Women's History Month. Read a feminist book this month and tell us about it.
I recommend Bell Hooks and Audre Lorde. Both are fantastic reads.
Yeah, if you're any of we have quite a few cis straight listeners, which is neat. But if you're one of our cis straight male listeners, check out Bell Hooks's. Oh God, now I can't remember the name of it.
I got it right here. I know exactly what you're talking about. It is called The Will to Change.
The Will to Change. Yeah, fabulous look at the negative impacts of patriarchy on cis straight men and how y'all don't have to be living that way. And I can't think of anything else to say. So,
well, yeehaw, fuck the law.
Right? Fuck Donald Trump. Still fuck Kristi Noem. I hope she's miserable.
I hope that bird-legged hoe gets kicked out of her house and everything.
Right. Yeah, she don't deserve nothing nice. And hang in there. Spring's a coming. Say hi to your mom and them.
Bye.